Let's bring in Harris Faulkner, anchor of the Faulkner Focus and co-host of Outnumbered. Harris, you and I watched this on your earlier shows today as it unfolded. And, you know, just looking at that moment again and now learning that President Trump walked in there with a list on his agenda. And I know Susie Wiles was with him, and she has been working very closely with him on this meeting. Your thoughts?
Well, and on the other side of the aisle, you saw that Jake Sullivan joined the White House press secretary to take questions about those moments, too. So there were other people who were in the constellation of that meeting that was nearly 2 hours long. The moments on camera and the moments that were to be consumed by the public, though, Martha, you and I both noted when this was happening live, that we took from the Oval Office were very decidedly short. I now, learning more information, I have two questions. First of all, what was on the list from President-elect Trump, and how were those questions addressed by the current president? And was there somebody else in the room who was answering those questions on his behalf? You know, President Biden just met with the president of Israel, Herzog, in the Oval Office. And you ask then, well, why hasn't some of that sort of support happened previously, 403 days into the war between Israel and the Hamas savages, the terrorists that invaded on October 7th. And I would want to know that. I would want to know, was that one of Trump's questions? Did Biden obligate the United States to anything with Israel that we don't publicly know? Is he backing them?
It's a good question. Marco Rubio will indeed become the next U.S. Department of State head of the Department of State. So he will be our Secretary of State, working overseas, obviously, and dealing with the wars that are going on, both between Ukraine and Russia and Gaza and Lebanon and Israel. And he was, there was a piece of tape I saw the other day, yesterday, I think, of Senator Rubio making it very clear to a reporter in the hallway, he is against any ceasefire with regard to the Israel war that's going on with Gaza. He wants the hostages returned. He wants them to reach their goals of obliterating Hamas before any ceasefire is discussed. So your reaction to this news, we've been waiting for it for a couple days since the leak of Rubio as Secretary of State.
Look, the audience heard me just say it. I said, wow, because we were just talking about that. And that video that you speak of in the hallway at the Capitol has now gone viral in the last 48 hours of him saying, you know, no, we will not be giving a ceasefire. Hamas then just within days has been indicating, well, wait a minute, with Trump coming into office, what does that look like for them? He's going to draw a hard line on that, and that'll be interesting, that part of it. But the other thing with Marco Rubio as senator is that he has been very clear on down the road where he stands with regard to our allies. There's been no shades of gray where he is concerned, and that is a complete opposite of what we're getting with the Biden administration. So you will probably see some moves that you might not have seen. For instance, with Ukraine, I'm interested now even more what it means when Trump promised months ago that if he were elected again, previous to January 20th, he would start to reach out to these leaders. One of his first 3 or 4 calls were with President Zelensky in Ukraine and Putin in Russia. So now it starts to kind of take some texture with it. Now we kind of understand this was the president-elect's pick, and you heard a lot of things. Will it really be Rubio? He makes history, the first Hispanic man to lead in that position. This is a big deal on a lot of different fronts, but don't miss it. The Latino vote just got a hat tip.
Yeah, absolutely. Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Marco Rubio ran for president against President Trump. They have had their acrimony over the years, but they have found their way back, obviously, to a good relationship. And this is a team that will work very closely when it comes to our communications with Europe, with Ukraine, and obviously in the Middle East, where there's a clear focus. When you look at we've got a Ukraine envoy coming in, Ukraine ambassador, you have all of these entities, and Middle East envoy as well, very good friend of President Trump's, will take that Steve Witkoff will take that role. So it's all coming together as we watch who's going to be on this team. Harris, great to be with you earlier today.
Always.
And thank you so much for joining me at the top of the show here.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.